I spent 3 months planning the perfect birthday party for my husband. I wanted to show his family that I was worthy of their son. But the moment I walked into that ballroom, wearing my best smile and my carefully chosen dress, they tore me apart piece by piece. What happened next? None of us saw it coming. My name is Miracle. Yes, I know, it's an unusual name. My mother gave it to me because she said I was her little miracle after years of hoping. But on the night of my husband Adrian's 35th birthday, I didn't feel like much of a miracle at all. I felt small, invisible, worthless. If you've ever felt looked down upon by people who were supposed to love you, if you've ever smiled through tears while others mocked you, then this story is for you. Stay with me until the end because what happened that night changed everything. And please hit that subscribe button because sharing these stories helps more people than you know. Let me take you back to 3 months before that night. Adrian and I had been married for 2 years, and in those 2 years, I'd tried everything to win over his family. His mother would give me tight smiles that never reached her eyes. His sister would compare me to Adrian's ex-girlfriend at every opportunity. His father barely acknowledged my existence. But I kept trying. I kept hoping that someday they'd see me as family. When Adrian's birthday started approaching, I thought this was my chance. I worked as a teacher at a small community school. The pay wasn't much, but I loved my job. I loved seeing children's faces light up when they finally understood something new. But Adrian's family, they thought teaching was beneath their son. They wanted him married to someone impressive, someone from their world of country clubs and business dinners. I started planning in secret. Every spare rupee from my salary went into a savings account. I took on extra tutoring sessions in the evenings. I even sold some of my jewelry, pieces my own mother had given me. I wanted this party to be perfect. I wanted to prove to them that I loved their son, that I was capable of giving him the life they thought he deserved. I booked the grand ballroom at the Pearl Heights Hotel. It cost more than I made in 6 months, but I didn't care. I hired the best caterers. I ordered a custom cake from the bakery that Adrian's mother always bragged about. I even managed to book Adrian's favourite band to play live music. The invitation list had over 100 people, all carefully chosen from Adrian's family and social circle. The hardest part was keeping it a secret from Adrian. I told him I had plans with my school friends that evening. His mother agreed to keep him busy during the day, though her voice on the phone was cold as always. My best friend Maya helped me with everything. She was the only one who knew how much this meant to me, how desperately I wanted to belong. The morning of the party, I woke up with butterflies in my stomach. Adrian kissed me goodbye, completely unaware of what I had planned. I spent the entire day at the hotel, overseeing every detail. The purple and silver decorations, his favourite colours. The photo wall with pictures from his childhood and our wedding. The gift table where I'd placed my present, a vintage watch he'd been wanting for years. I'd saved for 8 months to buy it. I'd chosen my outfit carefully too. A beautiful maroon dress with delicate embroidery. It was elegant, but not flashy. I wanted to look like I belonged in their world without trying too hard. I did my makeup myself, watching tutorial videos until my hands stopped shaking enough to get the eyeliner right. When evening came, Maya drove me to the hotel. Adrian thought he was just coming to have dinner with his parents. The moment he walked into that ballroom and everyone yelled surprise, I felt my heart might burst with joy. This was it. This was the moment they'd finally see how much I cared. But Adrian's face didn't light up the way I'd imagined. He looked shocked, yes, but there was something else there. Confusion? Discomfort? Before I could figure it out, his mother swept forward in her designer gown and hugged him. Then his sister. Then his father. I stood there, waiting for my turn, waiting for someone to acknowledge that I'd done this. Nobody did. And then I saw her, Christina, Adrian's ex-girlfriend. She walked toward him in a stunning white cocktail dress, her hair perfectly styled, her smile confident. She hugged Adrian like they'd never broken up, and he hugged her back. My stomach dropped. Adrian's mother turned to me finally, her eyes sweeping over my dress with barely concealed disappointment. "Oh, you're here too, Miracle? How nice." Her tone suggested it was anything but nice. "We thought you'd be too busy with your little school activities." His sister, Patricia, laughed. It was a sound like breaking glass. "Is that dress from the market? It's very colourful." The way she said colourful made it sound like an insult. Around us, guests were starting to stare. I felt my cheeks burn. I tried to smile. "I organised this party for Adrian. I wanted to make his birthday special." Adrian's mother raised her eyebrows. "You organised this? How generous of you to use Adrian's money for a party." My mouth went dry. "I didn't use Adrian's money. I paid for everything myself." Patricia laughed again, louder this time. "You? On a teacher's salary? Please, Miracle, don't embarrass yourself with lies." I wanted to show them the receipts, the bank statements showing my empty savings account. But Adrian's father had already turned away, guiding Adrian toward the other guests. Christina linked her arm through Adrian's, and he let her. He let her walk him around my party, the party I'd bled myself dry to create, and he didn't look back at me once. The next 2 hours were torture. I watched as Christina was included in every conversation, every photo, every toast. I watched as Adrian's family praised her dress, her career as a marketing executive, her poise. When it was time to cut the cake, Adrian's mother actually positioned Christina right next to Adrian. I stood off to the side, invisible. "Remember when you two were together?" Adrian's mother said loudly enough for everyone to hear. "Those were such happy times. You two looked so perfect together." Christina smiled sweetly, but her eyes found mine across the room, and there was triumph in them. Adrian said nothing. He just stood there, letting his mother rewrite history while I fell apart inside. When it was time for gifts, I watched as Christina presented him with an expensive set of crystal whiskey glasses. Everyone oohed and ahed. My vintage watch, wrapped so carefully in the corner, looked suddenly cheap and thoughtless. Adrian's sister picked it up and read the card aloud. "To my beloved husband, may every moment we share be precious. Love, Miracle." Someone in the crowd snickered. Patricia set the watch down without even opening it. "How sweet," she said, in a voice that meant the opposite. I couldn't take it anymore. I excused myself and nearly ran to the bathroom. Inside, I locked myself in a stall and let the tears come. All that work, all that money, all that hope. And for what? To be humiliated in front of 100 people. But then I heard voices. 2 women had entered the bathroom, their heels clicking on the marble floor. I recognized Adrian's mother's voice immediately. "I don't understand why Adrian stays with her," she was saying. "She's so ordinary. No family connections, no money, no sophistication." "At least Christina is here," Patricia replied. "Did you see how happy Adrian looked when he saw her? I'm telling you, we can still fix this mistake." "Give it time," Adrian's mother said. "Once Adrian realizes what he's missing, he'll come to his senses. Christina never stopped loving him, and she's so much more appropriate for our family." They left, still talking, their voices fading down the hallway. I stood there in that stall, their words echoing in my head. A mistake, that's what I was to them. 2 years of marriage, and I was just a mistake to be corrected. Something inside me hardened. I wiped my tears, fixed my makeup, and walked back out into that ballroom with my head high. If they wanted to treat me like I didn't matter, fine. But I wasn't going to run away. I had just reached the main hall when the music stopped. The bandleader was gesturing to someone at the entrance. A man in a formal suit was walking toward the stage, carrying a folder and a small crystal plaque. He looked official, important. The man took the microphone. "Good evening, everyone. I apologize for the interruption, but I was told I might find Miss Miracle here tonight." Every head in the room turned toward me. I froze. "My name is Hassan, and I'm the director of Hope Foundation. I've been trying to reach Miss Miracle for weeks, but she's a very difficult woman to track down. She doesn't like attention, you see. Adrian's mother looked confused. His father frowned. Christina's smile faltered. Adrian was staring at me like he'd never seen me before. Hassan continued, his voice warm and proud. Ms. Miracle has been secretly funding our children's hospital for the past 3 years. Through her donations, we've been able to provide free medical care to over 500 children from underprivileged families. She's saved lives, many, many lives. The room had gone completely silent. You could have heard a pin drop. But that's not all, Hassan said, turning to address Adrian's family directly. 6 months ago, when the Rahman Group was facing bankruptcy, he paused, and I saw Adrian's father's face go pale. The Rahman Group was their family business. Someone made an anonymous investment that saved the company. Adrian's mother's hand flew to her mouth. Patricia looked like she might faint. Adrian's eyes were wide with shock. Hassan walked toward me, holding out the crystal plaque. On behalf of Hope Foundation and the 500 families you've helped, we want to present you with our Humanitarian of the Year award. Your selflessness, your compassion, and your quiet strength make you a true miracle. My hands were shaking as I took the plaque. The room erupted in applause, but it sounded distant, unreal. Maya was crying happy tears in the corner. The guests who had been ignoring me all night were suddenly trying to get closer, to congratulate me. But I only looked at Adrian's family. His mother's face had gone from pale to red. Patricia couldn't meet my eyes. Adrian's father looked like he'd been struck by lightning, and Adrian, my husband, he was walking toward me with tears streaming down his face. "You saved my family's business?" he whispered. "Why didn't you tell me?" I looked at him, really looked at him. The man I'd loved enough to give up everything for. The man who'd stood by silently while his family tore me apart. "Because," I said softly, "I didn't do it for gratitude. I did it because that's what you do when you love someone. You sacrifice, you give, you support them even when they don't support you back." Adrian's mother approached us, her designer heels clicking. "Miracle, we didn't know. If you'd known I had money, you would have treated me differently," I interrupted gently. "If you'd known I was doing important work, I would have mattered to you then." She had no answer. I turned to face the room, all those people who'd looked through me just hours ago. I grew up poor. My mother cleaned houses so I could go to school. I became a teacher because I know what it's like to have nothing and to dream of everything. Every rupee I earned, I split 3 ways. 1 part for my life with Adrian, 1 part for the hospital, and 1 part for investments. When I heard Adrian's father talking about losing the business, I couldn't let that happen, not when I had the means to help. "But the way you all treated me tonight," I continued, my voice stronger now, "that showed me something important. Respect shouldn't come from money or status. It should come from recognizing someone's humanity, their worth as a person. I didn't need to be rich or successful for you to treat me with kindness. I just needed to be human." Christina had quietly slipped toward the exit. She knew her moment had passed. Adrian's family stood there, shame written across their faces. The guests were murmuring, some looking guilty, others impressed. Adrian reached for my hand. "Miracle, I'm so sorry. I should have stood up for you. I pulled my hand away gently. "You should have believed in me. You should have defended me. You should have seen me." Hassan approached again, this time with genuine concern. "Ms. Miracle, I hope we haven't made things difficult for you. You always insisted on anonymity." I smiled at him, a real smile this time. "No, Hassan, tonight needed to happen. Sometimes the truth needs light." As the party continued around us, now with everyone wanting to talk to me, to apologize, to suddenly be my friend, I felt something shift inside me. I'd spent 2 years trying to be enough for these people. 2 years shrinking myself, questioning my worth, desperate for their approval. But standing there with that crystal plaque in my hands, with the weight of my real accomplishments behind me, I finally understood. I had always been enough, more than enough. I was a miracle, just like my mother said. Adrian's mother touched my arm tentatively. Perhaps we could start over, get to know you properly? I looked at her expensive dress and her desperate eyes. Perhaps, I said. But things will be different now. I won't be trying to win your approval anymore. Either you accept me as I am or you don't. Either way, I know my worth. That night, I didn't stay until the end of the party. Maya and I left early, walking out of that ballroom with our heads high. Behind us, I could hear Adrian calling my name, but I didn't turn around. Not yet. Some things needed time. Some wounds needed space to either heal or teach you how to let go. As we drove through the city streets, Maya squeezed my hand. You were amazing in there. I was just honest, I replied. For the first time in 2 years, I was completely honest. That night changed everything for me. It didn't fix my marriage instantly, and it didn't magically make Adrian's family love me, but it freed me from the prison of seeking approval from people who refused to see my value. I learned that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is stand in your truth, even when everyone around you wants you to be smaller. Today, I'm still a teacher. I still run the foundation, now without anonymity. And Adrian? We're working on rebuilding trust, but only on terms where I'm seen, heard, and valued. Some days are harder than others, but I never forget that night, standing in that ballroom, finally visible after being invisible for so long. If this story touched you, if you've ever felt invisible or undervalued, I want you to do something for me. Hit that like button. Subscribe to this channel because these stories matter. Your story matters. And in the comments, tell me, have you ever had a moment where your truth came to light? Share your story. We're all in this together. Thank you for listening to my story. Until next time, remember, you are enough exactly as you are. Never let anyone convince you otherwise.